Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Given the absence of any major difficulties, we can expect a mass sprint finish. But watch out for the wind that could cause gorges and make for a totally unfettered race. The peloton has caught up. There's no more escapees. 1 minute for the breakaway. It's looking good. The time gap with the head of the race is stable.
The breakaway is widening the gap. It's good for us since we've got a guy up front.
The time gap with the head of the race is stable.
Flat stages. Little wonder that they're not shown in their entirety on TV.
The breakaway is losing ground.
The head of the race is 5 kilometers from the intermediate sprint. Here's the winner of the intermediate sprint. Watch out! You're not going to be able to attack for much longer.
The riders are approaching a slightly exposed zone. If the wind is blowing from the side, there could be gorges. Time difference between the peloton and the breakaway is steady. The breakaway is losing ground. The breakaway is holding off the peloton, but it's going to be difficult.
The gap is decreasing, guys. The peloton should be there for the stage win.
The head of the race has 1.5 minutes lead on the peloton. Looks like the breakaway still has some gas left. It's still able to widen the gap. All is not lost for the peloton. A sprint finish is still possible. Today's victory goes to the breakaway. It managed to surprise the peloton. The head of the race has 1.5 minutes lead on the peloton. Last time check for the breakaway, 1 minute. The red pennant for the breakaway.
The breakaway is under the red pennant. It's going to win.
He succeeded in avoiding all the pit. He tops the. We can say that everything is going well for him at the moment.
Huge congratulations for this win, guys. Our chances of victory were virtually... Hi, guys. Let's start the briefing for this stage. The main thing to grasp today is that the route is flat and without any difficulties. But be on your guard as the wind can lead to bordures. As we've got the yellow jersey, we'll have to shoulder our responsibilities and set the pace in the peloton.
Hello and welcome to all. The generally flat route should lend itself to a battle between sprinters for the stage victory. However, the peloton may be hit by crosswinds, which could see the idea of borders being hatched, some teams being perfectly able to exploit this type of situation.
Guys, I want to see you at the front of the peloton. The risk of bordures is very high, and I don't want us to get caught out at the start. When you have a very good sprinter in the team, it makes sense to stick with a breakaway in order to favor a mass sprint and vie for the stage win. Unless, of course, a rider from the team is present in the breakaway. His teammates are accelerating. They're no doubt readying the intermediate sprint. Watch out! You're not going to be able to attack for much longer.
The time gap with the head of the race is stable. The time gap between the peloton and the breakaway is decreasing. The breakaway is losing ground.
Flat stages. Little wonder that they're not shown in their entirety on TV. Watch out, guys, because in 10 or so kilometers, the roads will be wide open and the wind could have its say. Stay well up front to avoid being caught by a bordure.
Time difference between the peloton and the breakaway is steady. The head of the race has 1.5 minutes lead on the peloton. The breakaway is losing ground. Looks like the breakaway still has some gas left. It's still able to widen the gap.
The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed.
The head of the race has 1.5 minutes lead on the peloton. The next two climbs are classified as fourth category. There is only 1 point to be had at the top of each. "15 kilometers from the finish. The peloton is in pretty good control of the situation and should soon catch up with the breakaway riders. We should witness a mass sprint." Only 5 kilometers left for the breakaway riders to settle it. If anyone wants to avoid the sprint, they mustn't wait much longer.
Being left behind. It's good news for the overall standing. Last kilometer, you've got to sprint.
He's amongst the leading riders he is in.
Well done, lads. You rode a very good stage today, finishing in the top 5. Hi guys, let's start the briefing for this stage. The main thing to grasp today is that the route is flat and it harbors no particular difficulties. A sprint finish is more...
Hello everyone. This is a high-tension stage that is set before the riders. If breakaway candidates pay dearly for their place at the front, the main actors of the overall standings should also not go untouched by the stress of the narrow roads that they will follow. 1.5 minutes for the breakaway. It might just work.
The breakaway is widening the gap. It's good for us since we've got a guy up front. Wearing the jersey implies certain responsibilities. Team members must ensure the tempo of the race, and they, therefore, tire more. That is why it is sometimes better not to take the overall lead too early, in order to avoid tiring one's team.
The intermediate sprint will be fought out in Marigny. As with each intermediate sprint, only the top 15 score points.
You must constantly try to shelter from the wind, so as not to consume energy. This is what allows a rider to edge clear at the end of the race. Watch out! You're not going to be able to attack for much longer.
The breakaway is losing ground. Time difference between the peloton and the breakaway is steady.
The breakaway is upping the tempo at the head of the race. It doesn't intend to be caught up that easily. The peloton is riding hard. Stay well placed. Flat stages. Little wonder that they're not shown in their entirety on TV.
Time difference between the peloton and the breakaway is steady.
The gap is decreasing, guys. The peloton should be there for the stage win.
The breakaway is holding off the peloton, but it's going to be difficult. There will be 5 mountain points for the rider who's first over the top.
The first riders are 2 kilometers from the climb.
The descent on which the riders are about to embark will afford them little chance of recovery. It's not particularly steep, so they'll have to keep pedaling.
The gap is decreasing, guys. The peloton should be there for the stage win.
The riders are all back together. Everything will be played out in the final kilometers.
They're riding hard behind. This isn't the moment to relax.
There's movement at the head of the peloton.
Watch out. You're not going to be able to attack for much longer.
There's movement at the head of the peloton.
You are 2 kilometers from the top. Watch out for him. He's the best puncher in the breakaway.
Okay, we'll consume a feed.
Allez les gars, courage!
Bunched peloton.
You were first over the top of the climb. That's good.
Riders will have to keep focused and stay cool-headed in the last 10 kilometers. It's a winding road and the slightest mistake will be punished immediately.
Collective fall. It may create gaps.
There's movement at the head of the peloton. Is accelerating. There's movement at the head of the peloton.
He tops the standings and will receive the traditional honors. Here's the white jersey of this stage.
Great, guys! I wasn't expecting anything from this stage, and you bring home a podium place? Well done to you all! Unfortunately, we lost the yellow jersey. It's... Hi, guys.